Hey guys, what's up? Carter here. Of course Carter's here. Who else is going to say that? Cal? I don't think so. Cal's not here. So this video is for a viewer, I guess. I don't know. It feels weird to say that, but it's for somebody who left a comment. They asked me how they can make their Paramilitary 2 smoother. And so I gave him a suggestion. And, you know, now that I think about it, I feel I need to add more to that suggestion. And I think it'd make a good video. So this is going to be a takedown of the Paramilitary 2. I do have another video out there where I take it down, but it's like at the end. And I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it, so I figured I'd do a dedicated video taking it down. Now, dude, talking to you about wanting to make your smoother knife. First off, we need to cut out some variables. Before you start messing with your knife, let's cut out some variables. So if you open up your knife, check for blade play, assuming that there's no blade play, or maybe, you know, a little tiny bit or whatever. Then if you reduce the lock, or if you depress the lock, does your blade swing down like that? If so, then the only way to get it smoother would be to reduce your tension on your lock bar. Only way to do it. If that's not the case, if you depress the lock and it's still not smooth, you could try adjusting your pivot, you could try cleaning, you could try putting some oil and things like that in there. I'm assuming that your issue, if you want to call it that, is the lock bar being too strong. Because as you can see, I mean, and a telltale symptom of that is a really strong detent, which this has. And as you can see, this one is not super, I mean, it's smooth. It's not gritty or anything, but it has a lot of resistance on it. And that is because this lock bar is pressing on it so hard that it provides resistance. If I remove that lock bar tension, you know, it's super smooth. And I think that's also why this did so well in the mud test, because this is so powerful that it would just push any gunk out of the way. So keep in mind, if you do reduce your tension on your lock bar, you know, it's not just a 100% perfect thing to do, because it is going to affect your knife in other ways. One of which is the detent. You reduce that pressure, you're going to reduce the pressure of your detent. Also your lockup strength, you know, how strongly it engages. So those are things to consider, you know, but assuming that you're not having other issues, really that's the only way you're going to get it smoother. I mean, if it's nice and smooth and loose when you depress that lock bar, then what's actually causing it to be stiff is that lock bar. So let's take this down here. Not a T7, I think it's a T8 if I remember correctly. I've got this kit here. Comes with a bunch of different bits. Very high quality, very nice, but it is kind of a pain because you've got to store them all and keep track of what's what. While I'm doing this, let's chat. Just got back from watching... Oh crap. Oh no, that doesn't matter. Just got back from watching The Avengers. Really cool movie. Loved it. I'm not going to do a video on it, but a lot of fun. No real complaints. If I did have to say a complaint, the Hulk kind of behaves inconsistent, right? Like pretty obviously. One minute he's this raging maniac who's about to kill what's-her-face, and then the next minute he's somehow magically able to harness that power and fight the bad guys and not attack his good guys. And, you know, I knew that had to happen, but... What the heck? Oh, I need T9. I knew that had to happen for the story to work, but I thought they'd work in something where they said, you know, gave him some technique to control it. Maybe Tony Stark had given some device to calm him down or drug. You know, I thought they would have explained it somehow that, you know, how that was able to happen. Anyways, okay, let's get back to the knife. So the problem with the Takedown the Paramilitary 2, it's real easy, right? You've got 2 body screws, which are T7s, and I think that's a T8 for the pivot. It might be 2.9, but T8 will get it out. But this lanyard tube is press fit in there, and so I wouldn't recommend prying it off, just because you may cause more damage that you don't want to mess with. But the problem is you've then got to kind of try and work with it kind of like this, you know, which I don't even know how well this is going to work. So this is part learning for me and for you. I recommended reducing that tension, but it would be difficult to do, but let's go ahead and do it. So as you can see, while we're in here, let's take a look at how this dang thing works. So you've got your pivot right here, and there's your stop pin, and basically this right here is what engages on your tang right here. So it's pressed here as it's opening. It gets past this. There's the detent ball. Once it gets past the detent ball, clicks into place, and now it's engaged. See how it really is just a reverse liner lock? I really love this lock, guys. I think it's very, very strong compared to a standard liner lock for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons why is, see that curve right there? In a traditional liner lock, your lockup pressure is going to be coming down. So the more this is curved, kind of the more compromised it is, right? You know, when it's curved like that and you're putting pressure down, it's going to want to move. Whereas something, if it's straight up, all the pressure is going straight down. But with this reverse liner lock, even though it's bent this way, you're only ever putting pressure this way. So it doesn't matter as it wears in and as this bends more and more and more, it absolutely does not change the strength of that lockup. But, you know, that's all just speculation. So what you'd want to do to change the tension, and I thought maybe I'll try it on mine just to see how it is. I wouldn't mind mine being a little lighter. That detent's really, really tough, and you can always go kind of smoother. But kind of pay attention to how, I keep looking at the knife and then the viewfinder's off. Pay attention to how far that's bent. That's bent pretty far, and that's why we're getting all that tension. But you want to make a mental note about your starting point, and then kind of, you know, where you want that to actually be. And all you do is simply bend it the opposite direction. And like I said, it's kind of hard to do without taking the whole thing apart. I can't quite tell if that's actually bending. Yeah, this might not be possible, dude, without prying it off of that lanyard tube, which I've never done. Whenever I've taken this down, I've simply just butterflied it open. But I don't really want to excuse me, I don't really want to keep prying it like that, because what I'm going to end up doing is bending this forward, and I don't want to do that. And I got my lanyard all on here. Well, guys, let me see if I can pop this off of that. Oh, there we go. That wasn't that hard. Wasn't that hard at all. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So we have definitely reduced the amount of pressure on that. Oh, this goes this way. So now let's see. See what we can do. So let me shut the camera off right here. I'll come back on with it assembled. You guys don't want to waste time watching me fumble around getting this back together, but I'll come back with it on. And what the hell, you can watch me put it back together. What else you guys got to do? Just joking, guys. You can see the scratches on this liner here from when Probably the mud test, I assume. I got nothing to hide. Let's watch me fumble and try to get this dang thing back together. Okay, so yeah, it just pops right back on. So getting this off of this lanyard tube, turns out, is not as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. Wasn't that bad at all. I needed to shut that off anyways, because this camera only does 10 minutes in HD at a time before it shuts off to make a separate file. Oh, that's way too tight. Tighten this up a tad. And you know, I'd recommend, a lot of it's just going by feel. So just put your pivot back on, kind of see how it goes. So yeah, that's a lot nicer, guys. I like that. That is a lot nicer. Let me get everything back together here. Wow, I'm glad I did that. I need to, and what I'd recommend too is take a look at your centering. I don't know if you can see that. Mine's slightly this way. So just as I put my body screws back on, I'm just going to push, kind of hold the blade in the opposite direction, just a tad, because it's not way off. And that should kind of help recenter it. These paramilitaries tend to do that. Okay, why is that cross-threaded? Huh. That's not good. Got myself in a little bit of a situation here. For some reason the screw is just not wanting to play ball. Yeah, see, it's just spinning. For some reason it's I hate it when crap like this happens. You know, everything's going your way, and then all of a sudden something like this happens. It's either cross-threaded or there's some sort of gunk in there, but it's not wanting to screw in, and then I cranked on it and that kind of froze it to this piece. So now I can't even get it out because it's just spinning. So what I'll have to do is get some needle nose pliers, hold on to this stop pin, and unscrew it. I'll be back. Seriously guys, FML. Man, this turned into a big mess of a video. Try to make a video on how easy it is to take down the Para 2 and make an adjustment to the lock bar, and end up totally effed. Well, so I got that freed finally. I had to freaking take a lighter to it to expand it and get it to break free. And let's take a look at that piece of junk screw. As you can see there, I mean, it is just totally, those first threads are, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's, yeah, just totally munched. Just destroyed. Anywho, so I gotta find a replacement screw, but before I do that, so here's the cool bush, or the bushing system. And as you can see, on this side, well, maybe you can't see, there's actually a flat portion, and that locks into this liner over here. And so what that does is that means that you can tighten the crap out of the thing without it spinning. You know, you can tighten it and it won't spin. Really cool design. Love the bushing design. Ah, shoot. my bad. Well, no, that's right. No, that's not right. So guys, this is what happens when you tinker around with knives. Sometimes it goes smooth and you're like, wow, I can't believe I fixed this issue in like a couple of minutes, so much nicer, oh that's awesome. I'm gonna jump online and share my knowledge. And you start doing that and you look like the biggest freaking Gomer that ever existed. Because everything goes to crap. So hopefully I can at least get this back together and redeem myself. At least somewhat. Obviously I'm out of screw. But oh, and I found out that it looks like all these screws are T9s, in case anybody was interested in knowing that. Okay, got all that popped together. Definitely need to probably get this one in there. And then that's it. I'm out of screws. This one's all jacked up. So back where we were, trying to get this dialed in here. Still got a little play. If the bushing, if it's done 100% precisely, you can actually just crank on it all the way. But this one here isn't quite. So if you crank on the bushing, the pivot too much, wow, that is really nice though, guys. Aside from the big cluster, this thing just floats open now. And it's super easy to disengage. Takes very little pressure to disengage that lock. But it is still locked up rock solid. So definitely food for thought. You know, I'd like to say, you know, ignore my issue I had there, but don't. You know, that stuff, when you start messing with knives, taking them apart, that stuff happens. Somehow a thread got messed up on it, and I went to put it in and I felt it was resisting, and instead of doing the smart thing and saying, oh, back it out, take a look at it, oh, okay, this isn't gonna work, I did the dumb thing, which is, well, maybe if I crank on it harder. So doing that, it just locked it in there, and it was a pain to get off. I have no idea why I did that. I shouldn't have. I mean, it was just a standard taking the screw out, putting it back in. In fact, it's the first time I've taken this apart. You know, after both mud tests, I simply hosed it off, rinsed it off, and it was fine. So that's the first time taking this apart. So I don't know why that screw did that, but it's pretty nice. I mean, I would definitely recommend it if you're having this problem. You know, if you do it too much and it's too light, I mean, as you can see, it's still got a great detent, but I can actually, if I try really hard, I can actually flick it open, whereas before I wasn't able to do that. I'm running out of space on my card, so take it easy, guys.